Okay, this case is the infraspinatus muscle strain in a tennis player. They are 35 years old and a university level tennis player. They find some pulling sensations in their shoulder during play, and there's some morning stiffness and evening fatigue, as well as a rounded shoulder posture, more off the right when it comes to the injury. So this is at the mid phase of rehabilitation, and the aim of this session is going to be muscular endurance. They're going to be forming a side lying external rotation for 3 sets of 12 reps. So at the start of the video here, you can see me explaining to the client, going to be going through the exercise of choice and explaining to them reasons as to why, and just making them aware of what they've done to their infraspinatus in order to come to me today and perform this exercise. So I'm just explaining it through, giving informed consent and making sure that they are aware of the proceedings of today's exercise selection, and then giving a final rundown of what they're going to be doing and make sure they perfectly understand, and asking them for their consent, as it is vital for this. So the name of the exercise today is a side lying external rotation with load, because we're at the mid phase of rehabilitation. So you can just explain to them, depending on the strength levels at the moment, they can either go with the kettlebell or they can go with the ball. And we're placing that little plank in between the body and the elbow there, just so there's something to rest on, because they don't have it too tight to the body. Just explaining to them now, keeping it to the body, keeping the elbow tucked in or pressing against it, so they don't want to be raising their elbows, because that is one common mistake of this, is a raised elbow. So keeping it tucked in there and having that underneath it is just good to help it. So showing the demonstrations here, just making sure, going through the exercise itself, making sure the client is fully aware of how they're going to be doing this correctly and safely. And again, so I've explained it to them there, they're now going to be going into it themselves. So some of the coaching points, like I said, keeping your elbow tucked onto that there, making sure you're not raising your elbow. So that's the use of that as well, to make sure they're not raising it. Make sure they're not twisting at all. Make sure they're not twisting their body open, so they're keeping it just in the shoulder there. As you can see, I'm just making sure they're not twisting it there. So progression of this exercise would be getting them to pull to the top of the repetition for 2 seconds, or increasing the load. So right now, going from the ball to the kettlebell would be a progression, or using the same weight but pausing at the top, holding it for 2 seconds before going to the eccentric phase. And if this exercise is too difficult for the client at this point, what we can do is then remove the load entirely. So remove the ball, remove the kettlebell, whichever load they decide to use for it, and just having them just going through it passively without any load on it to increase muscular endurance in the shoulder without pain.